Hi guys, so a couple of weeks ago I released a new video. It was the foiling strapless Waterstart video. Seems to have had really good response. Lots of people coming back to me with feedback saying that they've finally managed to master strapless riding because of it, so that's really great to hear. After getting some of that feedback, I came up with a few extra little points that I wanted to sort of just hone in on from the video that might help a few of you when you're trying to learn. So I've got 5 things that I'm going to go through real quick. So the first one is perseverance. You're probably coming from already foiling to some degree and you've kind of got the basics nailed now. You're riding around really comfortably. You're suddenly losing the straps and you're back to kind of square one for some people. Some people get on and just get up and water start really quickly, and it will be really annoying to see some people do that. Others of us, it'll take us a little bit more work to understand how we need to change our starts to be able to water start and then ride along without your straps. So yeah, you need to persevere. Just make the choice that maybe for the first session or so, when you first start riding strapless, you're gonna have to just put up with a few more crashes and a bit longer in the water as you try and get the water start sorted. A good little tip there is, if you decided today's the day I'm gonna learn to ride strapless, go and ride for half an hour, have a good little warm-up session with your straps on, get used to the foil, get your muscle memory like kicked in and working, then come in, take the straps off and give it a go. So number 2 is avoid light winds. Foiling's great in light winds, that's one of the reasons why we do it. But actually going out in kind of sub 12 knots and trying to learn to ride strapless is going to be harder, particularly like when it gets below 10 knots. You know, really in those kind of winds, you're having to concentrate so much on your kite and keeping it stable that it's actually really hard to also have one hand off the bar and be trying to, you know, spend a lot of time playing around with the board. If we go into slightly stronger winds, the kite's just going to sit nicely above us and we can really, you know, play around with the board a lot easier. So yeah, avoid the light winds. It will definitely add a little bit less frustration to the whole process. And that leads nicely into point number 3, which is small, gentle movements of the kite. You might have got quite cocky and find you can throw the kite down quite hard with your straps on and pop up and be foiling straight away. When you transition over to riding strapless, you're going to want to be a lot more gentle with the kite to start with. You just want enough power from the kite to get you up and on the board, and you're back into that off the foil position of riding along and then popping back up strapless. You don't want to be wanging the kite around, you're just going to get pulled off. Number 4 is using a low volume board. So this is definitely like, there's different ideas on what is easier and what isn't. But from my experience of the people I've taught, both to transition over to riding strapless, but also people that have just jumped straight in and learnt strapless from the get-go for their foiling. A lower volume board, particularly ABS style boards, which really have very little volume at all, are a lot easier to learn to ride strapless with. Mainly when you get the board right on its side, it sinks down into the water. You know, half the board is submerged. A very floaty board is going to float up a lot more out of the water. And what this means is it's a lot harder to keep it on its side. A floaty board wants to kind of pop over a lot more and will help the foil to kind of roll back flat. And if it is more out of the water, when you're rolling, when you are coming up and over, you know, the board's out of the water, there's a bit more physics there of getting your weight up and over the board. Or if it's sunk nicely down into the water, you're just kind of pivoting around that center line of the board. So yeah, some people might find it easier with a low volume board. There's a lot of what I'm trying to get across in this video is that if you're struggling at all with it, let's just make it as easy as possible. Number 5 is really just reiterating what I've said many times in the video, and that is you've got to keep the board on its side. The board has to be on its side the whole time, okay? Just keep remembering that. I guarantee you, to start with, most of the time you've screwed up, it's probably you've let go of the board, you've played around with the kite a little bit, and by the time you've come to get up, the board's gone flat. So it has to be on its side, ideally with the foil itself right out of the water and the mast lying on the water's edge. That's how, you know, over we want it to be. And one of the things I said in the video, which a couple of people have come back to me and gone, what does perpendicular mean? And it's my kind of like maths background coming out, I guess. Perpendicular is right angles to something. So in the video I say you want to have the board perpendicular to the wind. By that I mean you want to have the board at right angles to the wind. So the wind hitting square onto your back and the board. So wind directly behind you. You don't want the nose to be drifting away, and if we've got the wind and the board's drifting away, we don't want that to be happening. You want to be getting up and riding directly across the wind as soon as you're coming up onto the board. Hopefully those few extra points may help those that are just struggling a little bit and just build on top of the videos. So if you haven't already, you can stream the videos today through the Progression website, and you can download them through the Progression app for iOS and Android. So that's the Waterstart strapless video. We also have the main Waterstart video. So if you're completely new to foiling, definitely start with that one. That's got a real in-depth look at the whole setup of how Waterstarts really work on a foil. Then have a look at the strapless Waterstart video, which will just give you the extra tips that build on top of that. And of course, we've got the full Kitefoiling Volume 1 collection, which will take you from the very beginnings of not knowing anything about foiling right up to your first jibes. I'm currently working on the foiling jibes video. That will be out in probably the next couple of months. If you have any questions about strapless Waterstarts, riding strapless, or any other type of foiling, please just drop me an email, put something into the comments, and I'll do my best to help.